MSM. So you might hear more gay, but MSM is more encompassing for men who have sex with men. So it can be a gay guy, might be bisexual, or anything in between. First thing first, I always believe we should start from basics. This is why these 5 categories will be from the basics. So you might know some things here, which is great. Terminology, I think, is like the basic of the basics. If we don't understand each other, if we don't use the correct terms, we can make them uncomfortable. We might not understand them. So terminology and language is really, really important, especially for medical providers who our main way to communicate is somewhat language. So a few terminologies about MSM. You might hear someone saying, I'm a top, active, medically it's more called insertive. Bottom, passive, is medically receptive. So top or active insertive is the one partaking in the insertive role during sex, while bottom, passive, or receptive is the one partaking in the receptive, receiving role during sex. Rimming, which medically is analingus, I actually have to look this up, is the act of orally pleasuring the anus. So you might hear, if you're a GP or maybe infectious diseases, really in many, many places, you might hear these terms, or you might even ask the patient, right? Was there rimming involved? Was there this involved? Who was the insertive? Who was the receptive? Even if you initiate these terminologies correctly, if it's medically relevant, of course, it can already put your patient at ease. Manners, speaking of it, if it's medically relevant. So when asking, especially, let's say, MSMs, problems around the inner region, first, make sure it has to do with what you're checking, it is relevant. I won't just ask someone if he's a top or a bottom, active or passive, if it has nothing to do with why they came or nothing to do with my diagnosis. And these things are usually sensitive topic. Many times, someone will come only when it's too late or when it's very severe if they have problems in the inner region because of their fear of either kind of coming out to their medical provider or because that region is a very sensitive topic for many people. Okay, so when you see this clap sign, it means we have another group clap. Do you know what PrEP is and who might need it? Okay, I'll leave this open and we can continue. I'm really happy more than half of you know this, so I hope I will somewhat add to your information. So colloquially or commonly it's known as PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's an antiretroviral drug. Contains 2 main components is emtricitabine and tenofovir disoproxyl fumarate. The brand names are Truvada, Descovy, and this is very recent, Cabenuva. Now, the tricky part here is Truvada has been checked, FDA approved. They're all FDA approved, by the way. But Truvada is kind of for everyone, while Descovy has been approved only for cisgender men and trans women who have sex with men, so MSMs. And Cabenuva is actually interesting because it's long-acting injectable PrEP given once a month. And this one has been tested for cisgender men, trans women, and also for cisgender women as well. Now, anyone who is HIV negative can take it to reduce the risk of contracting HIV by, now we have a RUCLEP, this one. You should be able to use a scale or just like put a number, percentage, by how much can taking PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, as prescribed, of course, as we tell them to take it, by how much does it reduce the risk of HIV? Okay, one more. I will say, meanwhile, that Cabenuva is pretty new. It is already FDA approved, and it's once a month. Most of these require to be taken before and after, like daily. All right, okay. So anyone who is HIV negative can take it to reduce the risk of contracting HIV by 99%. Again, when taken as prescribed. All right. Now, PrEP and STI, and here you have to listen carefully because even patients and a lot of medical providers can get confused. Studies suggest a connection between the using of PrEP and increased incidence of STIs among MSMs. Now, what can be a cause? How is this possible? The main cause I've seen from the research is insufficient information and confusion of the patient. Because while PrEP does reduce the risk of contracting HIV, it does nothing against STIs. It doesn't protect. That's not what it's for. PrEP is solely to reduce the risk of contracting HIV if you are HIV negative. It won't help you against chlamydia, gonorrhea, genital herpes. STIs, it does not help. So many doctors probably didn't let's say, explain enough or didn't make the patient understand this difference, which is why after taking PrEP, they might not use condoms. So before prescribing PrEP or while you are prescribing PrEP, don't forget, PrEP does not replace the use of protection. So advise your patients to still use condom or dental dams when having intercourse. Okay, part of what I do is also I try to discuss many of these things with the patient themselves. I don't know everything, and medical research has its limits. So I do get a lot of patient stories that I try to share on Instagram, TikTok, and also online. So this is one of them, a patient experience with PrEP. I only just started having sex, and I heard about this popular drug called PrEP. It requires a prescription. So I went to this doctor in my area. He didn't understand what I wanted from him, and I gotta say it was kind of weird to teach a doctor about something I thought was common. It became frustrating when he told me he doesn't feel comfortable prescribing something he does not know. In the end, I just left and went to a doctor a friend recommended. I shouldn't need to educate my doctor about a life-saving drug. And this is a life-saving drug, and unfortunately, many doctors do not know what PrEP is. All right, this is the basics about MSMs. And now a few basics on dark-skinned patients. On the left, you can see the Instagram called DiverseMedEd, so do follow. There's a lot of content there, not just these 5 categories. There are about 14, 15 categories now, and I just keep adding, we keep updating, adding more information. As I said, both interaction and clinically relevant information. Also very fresh, so don't have everything, but for those of you who don't have Instagram, which you're my heroes, then we have also a website called, again, DiverseMedEd.com. You can check it out. Thanks for joining. I'll answer questions now, and just if you have any feedback, it's always welcome. You can also reach out to me, either Instagram or any other communication method you want. On the website, you can find my email as well, LinkedIn, and everything else. If you do want to help us in some way, then donating whatever you can is always welcome. It helps us keep this up. So yeah, and you can follow us on all social media, and I will stop sharing my screen now.